Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, all praise, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Arachawadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone that rule well. And as always, peace, blessings, and salutations to the old like tabernacle of David scattered abroad across the four winds of the earth. I just wanted to do a quick lesson in response to this video posted up by Arrows of Indignation. And right now, Esau is finally facing some sort of adversity, and us being who we are, the people of the Most High, we've suffered adversity under the hands of this devil for the past half millennium. So now they're trying to associate their adversity and attach it to ours, as if we're all in the same struggle together. So they want us to rally up and fight right alongside with him. But Jake is starting to wake up to the foolery, and they're not taking the bait whatsoever. Because as long as we've been here, as long as we've been brought to this side of the world, all we did was serve our enemies, and pretty much in anything. We served them in labor, we served them in war, fighting their battles on their behalf. All right. Our women were used as, for pleasure purposes, wenches, concubines. We've been exploited for everything under the sun. So now that Esau is starting to face some bit of adversity, he wants to look to us, as if we're going to join in and fight with him. All right. And Jake they're not taking the bait this time. All right. Because, where's that same energy when it's us, when it's been us? We've been fighting for decades. All right. So let me play this video real quick, and then, we'll get into a couple scriptures as it pertains to it. So let's listen real quick.
For all the black Americans saying ICE isn't our problem, you do realize that
rest is an important part of activism, and you don't get to tell people who have been fighting for decades for things you have probably enjoyed your entire life, and only recently had to give a second thought to, that they don't get to rest.
Hey look, they know how to protest. You hear me? They know how to protest. They know how to protest when it's against us. They know how to organize when it's against us. They know how to burn our communities down. They know how to shoot at us, kill us. They know how to do everything when it's against us, or against the system when it ain't about them.
Yeah, they know how to publicly humiliate and castrate Jake. They know how to counsel Jake. They know how to make Jake the face of, every negativity you can think of. And they're very good at that, But now they want to tag Jake along, now that they're getting the same treatment, all right, that we've been receiving for all this time. So Jake waking up, man. Let's hear some more of this.
They know how to do it. Don't believe nothing they say. If they get in your comments talking about it's us and we don't need to do anything, because this ain't never been about we. Not never. It's always been us against them. And now that them is turned against them, now it's we. No. We all know, black people, we don't like we. Who is we? Who is we? Y'all know we don't like that. But don't believe nothing they say. And don't y'all get out in them streets. They know how to protest.
I'm gonna do this, because even though we know that ICE is set up, all right, on the left hand side, they're being trained up to basically enforce these draconian measures, into this society. All right, and they're pretty much drawing a line. Eventually, they're gonna come down on everybody, but right now they're specifically targeting the Northern Kingdom, but they're attacking Edomites and making examples out of them. They're pretty much sacrificing Edomites to send a clear message that ain't nobody finna get in the way of this operation, because this is sent down from the top. But as of now, with Esau, all of a sudden getting into this revolutionary spirit, and that's only because 2 Edomites got put down, right? So now they want us to sympathize and join forces with them and stand up. That's not gonna happen. Now the scriptures say, meddle not in a matter that don't pertain to you. Let me see if I can find that. Let me yep. You know what? I'll get this one, because even though we apply this to these false prophets that keep changing the doctrines up, I can still use this as well. Proverbs 24:21, it says, "My son, fear thou the Lord and the king, and meddle not with them that are given to change." Because this devil, he's flip-flopping. You don't know whether you want to treat us as an enemy, and then when it's convenient for you, you want us to be your ally. Well, that's double-minded. And you can't trust a double-minded person. And we know Esau, they're born that way. It tells you that in Psalms the 58th chapter. All right, soon as they're estranged from the womb, soon as they be born, speaking lies. So how could you trust, such an individual? All right. And as a matter of fact, I'll read verse 22. It says, "For their calamity shall rise suddenly," and Esau is prophesied that he's gonna suffer calamity. When you go to Jeremiah, let me go to Jeremiah, then we'll come right back. Jeremiah 49. Yeah, Jeremiah 49 and verse 7, it says, "Concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished?" Because if they were truly wise, then this whole entire administration and all the government, they would be on board together, but everything is divided. And that's why shit is falling apart fast, because they're divided. All these different multitudes of counselors, councils that they keep having. It says, "Flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan, for I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him the time that I will visit him." And he's in the time of his visitation. So that's why it's all falling apart. And that's why, you see all this chaos ensue. It's leading to instability, a state of disorder, right? It says, "For their calamity shall rise suddenly, and who knoweth the ruin of them both?" All right. And hey, Trump, he's the king. You know what I'm saying? The Lord put him in power for now, but shit is going to start going left. Actually, it already is. All right. And before you know it, everything's going to go into shambles, because it's going to be war. All right. It is all by the purpose of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. And we know that a kingdom divided cannot stand. Okay. It says, "My son, fear the Lord and the king, and meddle not with them that are given to change." All right. These people want war and uprising. Well, hey, but we're not going to get involved in that. We're waiting to be loosed, because we're in exile, man. We've been exiles, captive exiles, for hundreds of years. So we're not going to be a part of that that uprising. That's not our fight. Okay? Let me see what that word change actually mean in the Hebrew. It says them that are given to change. The Hebrew word is shana. And it says to repeat, do again, change, alter. It says at the bottom, it says to disguise oneself. Like, we know that you're still the same devils, man. You know? These are the same devils. When you go back to the time of the Civil War, they used some jakes that were part of the Union. Let me go here. All right. Fort Pillow. Just want to bring this up as a reminder. The 1864 Fort Pillow massacre saw Confederate forces led by Nathan Bedford Forrest kill over 300 primary black Union soldiers in Tennessee, in Fort Pillow, Tennessee, many after they surrendered, because they were prisoners of war that was forced to actually fight, and they had them lined up, you know, cannon fodder, you know, basically put them on the front lines and had them all murdered. Right? It says this event where black troops were treated as insurrectionists rather than prisoners of war exemplifies the brutal cannon fodder treatment often faced by African-American soldiers, Jake, who experienced disproportionately high casualty rates during the Civil War. So basically Jake was pretty much expendable, and they were basically sacrifices used as pawns, you know, for these devils, man. Okay? So Jake was always being used. All right? We've always been the burden bearers of society. All right, and it even tells you that in the curse that, you know, we will be exploited. Deuteronomy 28. And we're going to read the Amplified. Let me jump down. This is dealing with the curse. Yeah, Deuteronomy 28 verse 33. And it says, a people whom you do not know will eat the produce of your land and all the products of your labors, and you will never be anything but oppressed and exploited and crushed continually. You know, so you're going to be oppressed, you're going to be used, all right, basically exploited for their benefit. So they can use you for labor, they could use you for entertainment, they could use you in war. And that's what, you know, these nations have done. They all serve themselves of us. The Lord is getting ready to take that yoke, break that yoke from off of our necks. All right? Our punishment is at an end. And usually when we go through things, these nations don't, especially Esau. Let's go to Jeremiah. Jeremiah 15:5, it says, for who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem? Or who shall bemoan thee? Or who shall go aside to ask how thou doest? You know, they don't show the same concern. They don't want to join in solidarity when it's us being made an example of, when we have to suffer the brutality. So Jake ain't trying to get out there and get themselves lined up again. Because they was expecting for it to be niggas this time. To catch them bullets from ICE. Now Jake is done, they done with that. All right. But let's continue a little bit more, and then we'll close. I ain't gonna make this long.
Ban books and ban schools and ban history and do all kinds of things to protest against their history being known, against our history being
going after those slave exhibits in museums. You know, basically trying to erase the history of Jake here, because they know that it makes them ashamed. It's a shameful reminder of what Esau has done, you know, since the inception of Babylon. So Esau's trying to, you know, erase it to get rid of the guilt. And we supposed to accept that, but then turn around and fight these devil's battles when it start to, you know, get crazy. So now it's, you know, Egyptian against Egyptian. Edom versus Edom. We ain't got nothing to do with that.
They can protest a million things when it's against us. But now that they need to protest for the issues that they have caused, and all of a sudden they don't know how to do it. No. Don't believe it for 1 minute. They know what they're doing. They want us and our bodies to get out there to be the sacrificial lambs, to be the mammies, the mules. But we're not doing it. So don't y'all get out in them streets and don't believe nothing they say. They know how to protest.
Now you see exactly why black people sat at home this whole fucking time. Because it was supposed to be us. You thought it was going to be us. And we said no. It was supposed to be us with the knees on our backs. It was supposed to be us with the bullets in our chest. It was supposed to be us getting dragged away, which is why the Trump administration was so antagonistic of black people to begin with. When they figured out that we weren't going to show up, that we weren't going to take the bait, they still had to figure out a way to put the fear of God in people. And you didn't think that it would be you. You thought that they would find someone else. You thought that you would be able to sit back and just say, oh my God, that's so terrible. Why would they treat people like that? And be able to live above it, but it's you.
Yep. And so now, now you're suffering what we suffered. All right. Yeah. Hey, that curse gonna turn around on y'all, and that eye shall be evil towards your brother. You see? It's not so good when you gotta basically wear the same shoe. You see? And Esau ain't built for adversity like that. When we go back to the birth of Jacob and Esau, it said that one would be stronger than the other. There would be two manner of people separated, and one people shall be stronger than the other. And it takes no rocket science to figure out who's the stronger of the two. Because why they gotta go to us? We're supposed to be beneath them. They're superior, but what you want to tag us along for? They want us to be their muscle, you know? Nah, you got it. You the man of the sword. You was blessed with the sword. So y'all know each other's strengths and weaknesses. So you devils figure it out.
Tyranny always comes for you at some point. And it's here. Another person, another white man, another apparently straight white man with a good career serving his community is dead at the hands of ICE. Bullets in his chest for standing up to the American government. It wasn't supposed to be you, was it? It wasn't supposed to be you. You didn't think the leopards would eat your face, but this was the plan all along. The only wrinkle to the plan is that they thought that they would use black bodies like they always did. Through slavery, through Jim Crow, through the black codes, through the civil rights movement, they thought that they would be able to establish their power, that they're this new world order, that the secret police are legitimate by showing you what they were willing to do and capable of doing to black bodies, but black bodies didn't show up. And now they're using you. Now they're saying it's illegal to go into your house without a judicial warrant. That's what they're doing. And I'm going to tell you something, we ain't showing up. We still not doing it.
They all want us in harm's way so bad, it's something sinister about it. I've been saying this. You know what it is? It's this like trauma corn. They like to watch us be brutalized, attacked, beat up, unalived. Like they like to watch it. Like they have this weird fixation on seeing black people literally get terrorized. Like, nobody could ever convince me of anything different, because why do y'all want us to go out there so badly? It's not like y'all...
Yeah. Let me grab another script. Yeah, they love to see us, down. What's the scripture? I think it's was it Micah? Yeah, Micah 4:11, it says, "Now also many nations are gathered against thee that say, let her be defiled, and let our eye look upon Zion." Let's go to Lamentation 2. They rejoice over when we're down, when we're going through things. And like it says in Daniel the 9th chapter, it has not been anything done on this earth that have been done unto Jacob. Ain't nobody experienced what the Israelite have ever experienced when it comes to suffering and adversity. All right. Lamentation 2:15, it says, "All that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? All thy enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash their teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly this is the day that we look for. We have found, we have seen it." All right, so they love to see us in misery. And I'm pretty sure they was hoping that it would be, one of us, a Jake, but now it's them now. We sitting back with our popcorn, man. This is all part of the movie.
Like, trying to get us to go, to Congress or to get some type of bill or some type of legislation passed. Like, no, y'all literally want us to be out there physically fighting with ICE. It's like also a form of entertainment for them. Like, they like to see us arguing. They like to see us up in arms. And it's also ritualistic in a way of they want to energy harvest off of us. Like, it reminds me of like the movie It with the clown. And it could only attack you if you were afraid of him. Like, it's like it needed to bring out the fear in people in order to be able to appear, and in order to be able to strengthen himself and to be awake from his hibernation for an extended period of time. He had to harvest off of the fear of the children. And I feel like in this scenario, in this reality, in this simulation, it's our fear, it's our trauma that feeds the beast. It feeds the demonic forces and the demonic energy. It feeds whatever else they're trying to manifest, because they need us to help create new timelines. They need us to help create alternate reality, so to speak. So if we were to get out there and cause mass civil unrest, and of course martial law would enact, and we would be seriously in a police state, like we already are.
And then Jake would be to blame. Jake would become to blame. But that's why ultimately it's going to take for them to start treating Judah like they're treating the Northern Kingdom now. They start kicking down doors and taking Jake out, knowing that they're clearly citizens. We've been here the longest, besides the Gadites and Reubenites and some of the Issacharites. But they start treating all the tribes, and then Judah shall become a terror unto Egypt. Isaiah the 19th chapter. They crouch down as an old lion. Who shall rouse him up? But right now, Jake, they tired of fighting, And Jake been the burden bearers, since we were brought over here. I typed this in: Negroes are burden bearers of society. It says the phrase "Negroes are burden bearers of society" refers to a historical and literary theme, notably in the early 20th century, describing Black Americans, Judah, as forced essential laborers under systemic oppression. This concept often highlights their role in building infrastructure and sustaining economies while facing racial inequality and structural or white men's burdens. You know, he used Jake to handle everything for him, build everything up, sustain it, fight for him. And what did he get in return? You still get treated like you're less than human. Still taught that you are beneath them. You know, and they use their scientific racism. But if I'm so beneath you, why do you need me for everything? Why do you have to exploit me for your convenience? Everything great about society is based on Jake. All right, Jake's inventions, creations, strength. So, yeah. Historical context, in 1903 to 1904, the poem The Black Man's Burden by writers like H.T. Johnson and Lulu Baxter Guy portrayed this, emphasizing that despite oppression, Black Americans bore the weight of labor and sustained the nation's economic progress. And cotton railroads, and so we're dealing with the economic and labor force. And then, but you can also add in war. A lot of Jakes that fought in this man's war and still in the military to this day. You know, rising up in high ranking positions within the military. So Jake do all his serving, but still get mistreated and disregarded. So yeah, Jake have a right to stand the hell down. Because this ain't Jake's fight anyway. Okay? And I was trying to find another scripture where it basically says not to meddle in matters that don't concern you. Let me go to the Apocrypha. So Jake basically trying to mind their business. But you got that, this is how you know that dude is an agent. The Paul Birdsong nigga, he wants to defend all nationalities, you know. He wants to stand with global unity. That's some New World Order shit. All right. So that dude is clearly set up, and Jake waking up to that too. Sirach 11. Sirach 11 and 9, it says, strive not in a matter that concerneth thee not, and sit not in judgment with sinners. My son, meddle not with many matters, for if thou meddle much, thou shalt not be innocent, and if thou follow after, thou shalt not obtain, neither shalt thou escape by fleeing. You're gonna mess around and find yourself hurt. You know they want to get, have a reason to get rid of Jake. Start plucking niggas off. So you don't want to fall into this devil's snare, where you would be used for Esau to usher in the Insurrection Act and have all those troops everywhere. Okay, now let Esau sort this one out. This is their kingdom, and it's slipping away. It's falling through their fingertips. This is we watching our enemies literally fall. And that's a beautiful thing. Matter of fact, let's end off on that. Sirach 25 and verse 7 says, there be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy, and the 10th will I utter with my tongue. A man that have joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. And I'm gonna end it on that. All right. So hey, with that, I'm gonna give all honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Shalom.